Welcome to the first lesson for Algebra 1. This is going to be on Lay the Foundations. Okay, what I'd like for you to do is in your notes, start Lay the Foundation. Okay, so your page should look like this. What I want you to do is go ahead, label it the way it's supposed to be with the pie slice or unit across the top. And then the topic is going to be warm up. All right. And this is put the class. Number 1. And put the date that you are currently watching or making these notes. Across the top like that. And this is a warm-up. So let's go back and take a look at the problem. Okay. So the local weather reports states that I'm going to call this out. Okay. Welcome to the first of the flipped classroom content videos for Mr. Bose's Algebra 1 class. What I'd like for you to do is set up your first note page following the Cornell note method like I have displayed here. You're going to do your name in the top left along with the class, Algebra 1. The pie slice that we're in, so we're in Lay the Foundations, goes in the middle. The date that you're making your notes goes on the right, and we're getting ready for the warm-up. So it should look like this. So let's go take a look at what the warm-up is. The warm-up is the local weather report states that there's more than a 2/3 chance of rain for Saturday. What is the likelihood that it will rain on Saturday? Okay. So take a second, answer that warm-up. Write it down in your notes, and we'll return to that in class. So what we're looking at today is operations. So what you should do is after your warm-up in your notes, you should put operations. Okay. So what we're going to start with, we're going to look at what is equal and talk about what that means. We're going to review order of operations. We're going to briefly review addition and subtraction and the meaning of that. Look at multiplication and look at division. Most of this should be a review, but we're making sure we're all starting from the same place. So let's get started. So what is equal? So our equal sign, what is equal? That equal implies that one side is the same as the other. So if we think of this scale picture here, if I put something here that is 5 pounds, and I want to make it the same, I have to put something over here that is the same, right? If I have 5 1-pound blocks, that's the same as 1 5-pound block. We can say that they are equal, right? That's what equal means. So when we see an equation that says x equals 2 or even 2x equals 4, what we're saying is that that x, in this first case here, is the same as the value of 2. And that second one, what we're saying is 2x is the same as 4. They're equal. So that's what equal means. Take a pause here. Finish writing stuff down in your notes. If you have any questions about what is equal, put that on the left-hand side, on that left-hand column in your Cornell notes. Once you're done with that, you can continue. So next, we're going to look at order of operations. So order of operations, hopefully you remember PEMDAS, all right? Or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay. The P, of course, is parentheses, okay? But now that we're in Algebra 1, we're going to expand, and it's not just parentheses, it's all grouping symbols, okay? So all grouping symbols include parentheses, brackets, curly braces, and there's one more. See if you know what it is. But the missing one is also the square root symbol. The radical, or the British call it surds. So that's the P in PEMDAS. Okay. The E stands for remove exponents. So that means if you have something like that, you're going to get rid of the exponent. Or if we're working out solutions, or if we're solving, if you have 2 squared plus 3, right, you're going to do the exponents first. You're going to do the 2 squared first. Then you'll do the next step. So that's the E. The M and the D, of course, stands for multiplication and division. So you're going to do any multiplication or division first. Then you're going to finish with the AS, or any addition or subtraction. That's PEMDAS. That's the order of operations. Now, what we're going to start to really look at in this class is reversing that, or what I like to call SADMEP. Okay? Which means you undo any addition or subtraction first, then you undo any multiplication or division, then you undo exponents, then you undo grouping symbols. After you undo the grouping symbols, you may need to repeat steps 1 through 3, and then last we solve. Make sure this gets into your notes, and if you have any questions about that, write that off on the left-hand column, because we will revisit that. So let's look at an example. Okay, I'll work the first one through with you, and then I want you to do the second one in your notes. So looking at this first problem right here, okay, and I'm looking at PEMDAS. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of parentheses. Well, I have 1 plus 5 squared in parentheses, so I can't, or I'm going to do parentheses, so I'm going to have to do what's inside the parentheses first. So I'm going to do 1 plus 5. So I'm going to end up with 6 squared times 3. Okay. So that's my parentheses. Next step says to do exponents. So I'm going to do 6 squared, which is 36. So I have 36 times 3. Exponents is done. Now I'm going to do any multiplication or division. So I'm going to do 36 times 3. So I'm going to do, I know 3 times 30 is 90, and 6 times 3 is 18, so 108. So that takes care of my multiplication and addition, or multiplication and division. I don't have any addition or subtraction, so 108 is the final answer to that question. Now what I'd like you to do is in your notes, work the second one out. Once you solve that one in your notes, and if you get stuck, it's okay. Just write a question off to the left-hand side and ask me when you come back to class. We're next going to look at addition and subtraction. So what is addition? Well, 1 plus 1 is 2, right? Addition is taking something, 1, and adding 1. So we're moving it further away from 0. If we're adding negative numbers, so let's say we have 1 plus negative 2, all that's saying is we're at 1, and then we're going to move negative 2. So we're going to move 2 spaces to the left, right? Going further away, going to the left further away from 0. So we're going to go 1, 2, goes negative 1. That's addition, and that's addition of negative numbers. It just has to do with position to the left or right of 0 and how we're moving. So now we get to the little more complicated. What is subtraction? Okay, subtraction, we traditionally have been used to it being the opposite of addition. And while that's still true, really what it is just adding a negative number. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at our example. So 2 minus 1, okay, it's really adding a negative number, so it's 2 plus negative 1. Okay, the thing to remember is this right here. Always add the opposite. So if you have a negative sign, you're always going to change, if you have a subtraction sign and a number, you're going to change the subtraction sign to an addition sign and make the number negative. Okay? If you don't believe me, let's take a look at our example, 2 minus 1. So we said before, the subtraction is the opposite of addition. So if addition is moving something to the right, further away from 0, then subtraction should be moving something to the left, away from 0. So 2 minus 1, 1 space to the left, right there. Indeed, 2 plus negative 1 is the same thing. We both end up with positive 1. Pause the video here. Finish writing stuff down in your notes as needed. Write any questions down on the left-hand side. And when you're ready, keep going. So in class, we're going to watch this video. If you're at home, look in the notes section of Canvas where you're going to look under Lay the Foundation Notes, go to my presentation, and you'll be able to find this video. I'll also put a link to it below this video that you're listening to. Okay, adding with signs. So I will do the first 2 of these with you, and then I want you to do the other 6 in your notes. Okay, so 121 plus 144. So we're going to line them up and we're going to add. 4 and 1 is 5, 4 and 2 is 6, 1 and 1 is 2. Okay, let's look at it with some variables. Okay, so this is x, and we can imagine that it says 1x right there. Remember, we can put an imaginary 1 in front of just about everything. Okay, so if we have 1x and 2x, we have to ask ourselves, are the x's the same? Well, they certainly are. So then we can add them together. So x plus 2x equals 3x because they're the same x's. So try the rest of these in your notes. If you come across anything or have any questions, ask in class. So that takes us to the end of this video. Remember, your homework, we'll have time in class to work on it after we answer questions, but you have a discussion post that is due the 28th, which, depending on when you're listening to this video, might be past due. Sorry, not a discussion post, your introduction and quarter one goals. And you have those 2 assignments in Khan Academy, early math and arithmetic. Remember, you're trying to get those to 90% or greater. Hopefully you enjoyed doing this first flipped classroom video. Please make sure you've got all your notes done and you bring any questions to class.